Hello and welcome to Inside Edition, where we discuss national, regional, and international issues in depth. Bahrain's technology community is extraordinarily vibrant, as a number of pro-innovation regulations are provided to support a growing and sustainable tech ecosystem through systematic planning, encouraging procedures, and business-friendly environment. The Kingdom of Bahrain became an attractive destination for global companies, investors, and entrepreneurs. Nowadays, it is considered as a vital hub for finance, technology, and innovation, as well as a regional leader in digital services as part of the National Economic Vision 2030 and Government Action Plan. To talk more about changes and challenges that such vast development raise, we are pleased to be joined here in the studio by our guest, Chairman of the Technology and Business Society, Mr. Mish'al Al-Hilu, right after this. Welcome back. Joining me in the studio is the Chairman of Technology and Business Society, Mr. Mish'al Al-Hilu. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Sarah. Pleasure to be with you.
Mr. Mish'al, one of the main aspects about technology and business society's efforts is spreading awareness in Bahrain when it comes to the technological field, to the security of the technological field, and other aspects when it comes to that. What can you tell us about the technology and business society's efforts in spreading awareness about technology and business advancement in the kingdom?
I think first I would like to thank you again for hosting us. It's a pleasure to be on this program. Regarding the Technology and Business Society, since its establishment in 2012, it was a platform for collaboration. That's the main essence of the society. We try to bring all IT professionals and leaders to sit together and talk about national issues, challenges, collaboration, and in regard to solutions available in the market and how to deploy it and use it effectively. The mission of the society is to reposition Bahrain to be a leader on the technology industry, basically. And that will not come without NGOs participating with the government initiatives and complementing their work, and as well highlighting the demand of the companies from the private sector, what they are looking for, from policy changes, from requirement to facilitate their advancement.
Yes. Well, on that point, you are actually a big advocate about collaboration and working together when it comes in providing that security aspects against whether cyber attacks or basically strengthening the technological infrastructure that is available. What can you tell us about the cooperation or the collaborations that are needed in order to strengthen this kind of system?
I think it's key for any organization or any society to really compete at the global scale, that they need to collaborate between private and public sectors. And we have seen the evidence today that collaboration is definitely going to make everyone more stronger. If you talk about cyber security and cyber attack, if we will hide information from the rest, then the rest will be as well vulnerable for that kind of threats. So collaboration and information security is definitely a better way forward of addressing anything regarding information security and cyber attack. In the society, we have created informal security gathering for a group of chief information security officers on the banking sector. And we have seen how this is effective. People are talking about their challenges. Definitely, people cannot share everything that they go through because of reputational damage that they could create for themselves. So we try to make it anonymously sometimes, where people can tell us about what they've been through.
Yeah.
And I would like to as well thank the government here and IGA at that time. And today we do have the National Cybersecurity Center. We're so proud that we have a National Cybersecurity Center. This is where we've been demanding for a while, and we've seen it now on real life happening. And we have a lot of hopes that this center will elevate the exposure of Bahrain in terms of addressing cybersecurity at the national level.
Absolutely.
And I would like to as well congratulate Sheikh Salman bin Mohammed, who is heading this center, and looking forward for collaboration between us and him, and wish him all the best. With what happened with COVID, I mean, the acceleration of use of digital solutions definitely will expose us, and how we've been speeding up to catch up in certain areas or to accelerate our advancement of use of technology definitely have created areas where we need to really monitor and focus, especially for those who's working, for example, remotely for a very long period of time. They need to be aware about what are the risks that they are having while working remotely. And that's where collaboration as well, from a social aspect, from individual responsibility, from organization, and what the National CERT is doing in promoting tips and solutions for people to take to protect themselves.
Right, right. When it comes to the organizations that are vulnerable, the fact that we do have to mention is that these organizations actually did take steps to try to counter any kind of attacks or any kind of gaps that were found in the system with the beginning of COVID. And we're not talking about one industry, we're talking about universities, banks, we're talking about businesses, that when the technology aspect was boosted, as you said, during COVID, they studied these gaps and they actually took care of them from the beginning before any actual attacks happened. What can you tell us about the value of being prepared for any inevitable kind of security breaches?
That comes with policies and procedure on the organizations. Definitely, how to address information security is a continuous basis. It's not something that you do one time and then you just leave it aside. Actually, it is an integral part of any business development.
Yeah.
If you have a better information security framework in a place, that means that you can do more business, you can reach more customers, you can confidently grow and reach new regions. So to have efforts in a place, to have continuous evolving information security is key for any organization. Second is that people awareness and information security is evolving. But as well the risk, now not talking about just organizations and what they have from systems.
Yes.
People from their mobile are as well exposed. We have seen throughout the pandemic some bad messages going that have bad links. People could press on it and they could compromise.
Right.
Although that could have looked like a legitimate emails or messages coming from authorities, but in reality they are not. So, but today we have seen and witnessed that people are aware, and the percentage of victims in the society is going down. And as well, Ministry of Interior is taking care of any reported issues. And I've seen now a lot of proactive measures on TV, for example, some shows that talks about how to protect your mobile apps and how to report issues.
Right.
I think that's something that we are proud of, and we demand to have more, because society have a different type of people, different culture, and even foreigners and those who don't speak Arabic, they need to have multi-language on the media to cover that, and that by time will protect the society.
Right, right. Having the information there in order to spread awareness. Well, the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic resulted in various challenges in terms of technology usage and business growth. What can you tell us about that?
I think digital transformation is a key for any transformation of organizations and societies. Those who didn't do their homework in the past, they suffered a bit. Definitely, those who have been ready as part of their digital transformation definitely were able to quickly offer their services to consumers through the digital platforms that they have. We've seen acceleration, and some of the reports from McKinsey talks about those couple of months actually equal to 7 years of programs that companies wanted to achieve. They've been able to achieve it in very short period of time.
Right.
And that's because there is a driver for the shift. So anything that IT community were talking about in the past, I think this is a lessons learned to the IT community, is that they need to go through a simulation with the executive. They need to showcase the solutions value to the business in a different way, not what we used to do in the past. Today we've been through this COVID situation, and there was a big driver for shift, and the magic happened. Everyone is just now using technology and transform their businesses. I wouldn't say that we are yet into the digital economy in terms of the maturity, but we are on the right track.
Yes, yes.
And this will lead to a lot of innovation. Creative ideas came from the whole society. We've seen companies from different sectors, organizations related to private and public sector works together to achieve or to address a challenge.
Yes.
And that's something that we are proud of, and that's where we wanted to keep the momentum for the coming period, the collaboration, and as well defining our challenges and inviting people from different sectors to come and chip in with a solution.
Yes.
That's the way forward, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah. When we talk about being in the digital field and Bahrain's preparedness, Bahrain already was prepared before the pandemic, and that's what really helped with basically going through this digital change fairly quickly. I mean, a few episodes ago, we had the co-founder of R Square who talked about that our issues in Bahrain when it comes to technology are different than countries where they're just starting off with introducing into technology fields. Our issues are based more on storage and that kind of stuff, which is something easy to solve in the long run. So how do you see this digital transformation in Bahrain specifically? Was it fast? Was it smooth from your point of view?
I think we are much ahead from a lot of countries around us and the globe. And that comes from the vision the country has. The main driver for us to innovate is because we wanted to have a society that acknowledge and use the latest technology to reflect the maturity of who we are. We are from Bahrain, we are so proud to be the first in so many areas. And technology is one of the areas that we are doing very well on it. IGA played a big role in transforming services into digital, and that's happened from a very long time. So we're now talking about the new strategy of aligned with His Majesty instruction to the government, where he instruct them toward being prepared for digital economy.
Yeah.
And as well embrace the use of artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
That's the mandate that the society have today and government, that they need to be prepared. And part of that, I think we've been through an accelerated program through COVID. So we've been ready, we have the instruction, we have the platforms, and we've been through this crash course to just get away all those culture issues that people sometimes hesitant to move forward with technology. Because change is definitely difficult, and change management is an art. People need to, and at the level of a country, it's even more difficult. So you need to address specific sector, specific kind of age group that you need to talk to. And thanks to what's happening now, we have accelerated all of that toward a better and stronger use of technology. And I don't want to talk too much about that because I think I can have hours to talk about what we have been through. Going back to your question as well about maturity, we are proud to have AWS in Bahrain. And that didn't come like without a planning. This is part of the government strategy. We've been embracing cloud as a cloud-first policy from a very long time. So it didn't take the government today a lot of efforts to shift workload from what they have to the cloud and offer services at a higher scale. Let's talk about, for example, the education sector. The Ministry of Education is serving a big population of students. And the pandemic came and they need to not just triple, maybe 5 times the capacity that they need. And they've been able to do this in 1 week. And that's definitely through the help of IGA. The same way on the health side, we're so proud today to talk about the Be Aware app, right? It is the most important app today in Bahrain.
Yes, it is.
And it is an example of collaboration between all parties. And we've been able to achieve this in very short time. At the time, we've been like a couple of months ahead of Be Aware app. We've seen countries just talking about the need of such platform and a place. And today we are adding extra services to it, and extending this to even private sector. So
that by itself,
we're in a good shape.
Yes, we are, inshallah. I mean, when we look at this rapid change in technology and the need for technology, with this rapid change in technology, cybersecurity is an issue. What does the society's effort recommend in this regard?
First, I would talk about what we have done so far, talking about specifically TPS. We've been focusing on information security for a couple of years now. We have actually a committee, a dedicated committee for information security, and we understand that we need to address it differently. So individually, as I said earlier, we cannot fight it. We created a focus group to address those issues, and we have created or conducted multiple events on the past and during the pandemic to talk about the importance of addressing cyber attack from country level. For example, if I will talk about one company addressing an issue versus a sector within the region versus a sector within the whole globe. The amount of intelligence we can find by collaborating is much bigger than you alone. You will not be able to find what is not normal without taking it to the bigger scale. And this is as well a message maybe for those entities looking after cybersecurity on the GCC side, to have some collaborations because we have the same risk, same industries, same population as well. The wave of cyber attacks move geographically from place to place. So if I will get to know that there is a wave of attack in UAE, I will know that it's coming to me within a week. So that's early alerting mechanism should be in a place. So this is our hope, to have more collaboration to address cyber attack and to take it seriously. This is not something that with budget constraint today, I will invite all people to take it really seriously. Cyber information and investment in information security is not something that is you should park it away. No, continue investing, because this will enable you to transfer to a digital enterprise.
Absolutely. To talk more about some of the aspects of early investment in the technology, as well as tremendous efforts that the Kingdom has put in place for the technology growth, we are going to go on Skype to the founder and board member of the Technology and Business Society, Dr. Khalid Al-Mutawwa, via Skype. Doctor, thank you for being with us and I'm just going to immediately cut to the chase because I know your time is very valuable. What can you tell us about the Kingdom's early investment in technology, as well as the tremendous efforts in meeting the national needs of providing digital and enhanced public services?
Okay, thank you first of all for having us with you in this program. I think that Kingdom of Bahrain has done great investment on the IT sectors. This great investment has established strong foundation for public service digitalization approach. I think Bahrain was among the first countries who adopted a government data network where it links all government and ministries and enabled them to exchange data across Bahrain. I think Bahrain also was among the first countries who adopted the cloud-first policy. And they have partnered with international companies such as Amazon, where they establish a regional data centers here in Bahrain. I think also Bahrain was the first countries who established a unified national portal where all services and online services is delivered to citizen and resident through one single channel. I think this approach, Bahrain was leading countries on it. Thanks for this infrastructure and this investment that build the foundation for the coming era.
Yeah. Well, these early investments in technology have actually really paid off in Bahrain's fight against the current COVID-19 pandemic. What can you tell us more about that?
Yes, I think this early investment has helped to activate the social distance strategy that our government has pushed to it. So we see a lot of workers and from government, from business sector as well. They were able to work from home, do their job from home, perform their tasks, access their systems through networks from home We see even the education and the training sectors were able to deliver their courses online, their exams online, able to assess even students online without the need to come at work. I think also the public services has been continued to be delivered by ministries and even by private sectors. And thanks for this strong infrastructures and strong regulation that has enabled Bahrain to continue delivering these services without impacting the quality or satisfaction of customers.
Yes, yes. Dr. Khalid, one of the things that we talked about, me and Mr. Mishra Al-Hilu, was the fact that collaboration is very, very important when finding the nooks and crannies that might actually negatively impact the technological improvement that Bahrain and any technological society is seeing, especially during COVID-19. What can you tell us about the importance of these kind of collaborations between the government institutions, between different entities and the businesses that are trying to flourish?
I think what happens or what lessons that we learned from this pandemic is that there is no single sectors who can work alone, and all efforts has to be collaborated across different sectors. And we see, for example, services that has been delivered by government. We're part of an integrated cycles where services goes through a pipeline from government to private sectors, supplement from even the NGOs. All these efforts were collaborated for one target and one aim. And so this is one lesson that we learned from the pandemic, that in order to get out from this crisis, we have to collaborate together. This technology, yes, help us, but I think change that happens in people were more important than change in technology. People will become more open-minded now for using technology and using collaboration tools. I think it's important even to focus on what will happen after the pandemic.
Yeah.
A lot of things has been accelerated. We didn't thought that it will be done maybe 5 years ago, but in 1 year we will able to deliver a lot of services online. We will able to make a transformation in a lot of sectors that sometimes in the past it was difficult even to think about it.
Right, right. And all of these factors actually have contributed positively to Bahrain's reputation. The International Internet Society has ranked Bahrain as the 19th country in the world with the best internet services. How do you value this recognition and its basis and reasons behind it?
I think that's, if we will talk about the reason and the basis for this, then we will have to say 3 important things. First of all, thanks to the established, well-established infrastructures that has opened the door for citizen residents to connect to internet. It made fiber reaching home to peoples, and this has even improved the service of internet. It linked different organizations together. So infrastructure was important, I would say, pillars on that.
Yeah.
In addition to this, I think regulation that Bahrain has done innovative, I would say, initiative on it. Thanks to TRA and Ministry of Telecommunication and Transportation, who has put a lot of effort to modernize the regulations and to liberalize the market of telecommunications. That has a great impact on improving the sector itself. Recently, we have heard that Bahrain has announced the 5th National Telecommunication Plan, bringing a lot of promises about the expansion of 5Gs and fibers to homes. And so there are a lot of promises coming even in the future. And we don't forget also how Bahrain has put a lot of investment to enable the peoples to have the skills, the talent, in order to manage these, I would say, infrastructures and to run it in a smooth way. And we are proud to have the most talented people on IT sectors across the regions. And Bahrain has done a lot of effort through different organizations such as Tamkeen in order to support people and support the students to reach this level of skills and talent.
Absolutely. Doctor, before we let you go, I'd like to ask you, as the founder and board member of the Technology and Business Society, what do you look forward to within this next year when it comes to the fields of technology and how it collaborates with the business societies?
Yes, I think that's we have to give more space for digital transformations. I know that Bahrain has considered this as an important pillar in the government program and its strategies, but the return that we have get during the COVID-19 give a clear evidence that IT and digitalization can do a lot of things for the countries. So giving the support and giving the space even for people to innovate on that sectors will be a great achievement for the countries. And I think with our government realizing the importance of this, we will see a lot of changes, a lot of support coming in the future, particularly for the sectors. And we as a non-government organization supporting this initiative and supporting the government, and even making the platform ready for the governments in order to collaborate with them and help them to make the required awareness for the importance of this direction.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Khalid Al-Mutawwa, the founder and board member of Technology and Business Society, for being with us and answering our questions. Back in the studio joining me is the chairman of Technology and Business Society, Mr. Mishal Al-Helu. Thank you again for being with us. That conversation with Dr. Khalid really put the borders around what we were talking about.
Exactly.
He put everything very bluntly at what's the future plans, why it has been so successful until now, and how Bahrain was prepared originally. Any comments you have on that?
Yeah, I think I would like to comment on our readiness as a country in terms of availability of laws that empower people to advance the use of technology. In a couple of years, there was approval of a law of electronic transactions, followed by authorized digital signature, and then data protection law. All of these laws, some people might see it limiting them because it's have a guideline, but it's actually enabling people to go and use those digital services.
Right.
With as well protecting the data that you have and the personal information related to individuals. Another point I would like to comment is as well from readiness from infrastructure perspective. Bahrain is always ranked on top in terms of availability of high-speed internet, and as well the infrastructure that will allow government to operate and as well private sector to use and utilize those services.
Right.
We are among the first to have 5G.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the use of technology. Definitely, 5G is a big shift of how you operate, and yet we will see the advancement of utilization in terms of developed new apps that will use the speed. Today, you might not feel it because the same experience, but once we have a new applications that will utilize this high speed, you can do a lot of things that in the past you were not able to do it at all, like even connecting people from anywhere to an off-site and ask them to do certain activities for you. Linking this with, for example, artificial intelligence and machine learning, you will be able to advance so many sectors and a very rapid speed.
Right. I mean, a lot of people, as you said, don't feel it. There are people that understand the concept of 5G. And I think one of the important things to mention here is that Bahrain has always had some kind of awareness about how important the speed of internet comes to the success of certain fields, like the educational field, the medical field as well. I mean, during the pandemic, one of the things that really blew my mind as a medical professional and as a media professional is that people were able, or elderly especially, were able to see their doctors online, taking away that physical contact, which is still important, but it is not life-threatening if it isn't there. and people still got their health care in a speedy way, in a very secure way. The Ministry of Health, in addition to the IGA, also put security measures in place in order for people to feel this kind of safety. And with 5G coming in, this will only be a better experience for people that don't have the facilities to go to hospitals, that people for people that are of high risk because of the pandemic or other issues. It will make life easier to have that top-notch care that you need right in your home and in your living room as you are.
Exactly. I think that's the beauty of technology, and you will be exploring a new experience. And as there was a driver for us to use that technology or video conferencing and collaboration softwares during the pandemic, and then there are many other use, as you said, in the medical sector. People use those virtual calls to assist any patient and advise. And for example, when I had an eye infection, the doctor have a prescription of how to take photos of your eye from multiple dimensions, and you send it to them by WhatsApp, and they do the assessment and have a call, and we are done. This as well now go beyond borders. You can have a consultation with doctors outside the country if needed, and you can do, in the near future, be able to do even operations with the assessment of people outside. So it's totally new experience. We are enjoying the technology, and hopefully we will see a lot of values coming to the society.
Hopefully. Well, can you tell us about current and upcoming events and projects organized by the Technology and Business Society?
Sure. The Technology and Business Society is driven by multiple factors in terms of deciding what topics that we will focus on. Definitely we go back to our members. We hear what is their demand in terms of pressing and challenging areas that we would like to know more about, and as well from the advancement of the society and trend technologies. For example, we've had events related to blockchain, which everyone now knows what blockchain is. We did for security, we did for cloud, we did for... we as well sometimes focus on specific companies to reflect their experience. For example, we did an event with Batilco, Mumtalakat, and American University of Bahrain to talk about how they respond back during the pandemic. What we believe is 2021 will have is that we'll deep dive on AI. That will be the theme of the year, definitely. We did some events related to artificial intelligence as a public. And this year we'll focus on multiple technologies that people need to be aware of, and companies and executives need to be aware about what does this mean to their businesses.
Right. One of the things that Dr. Khalid mentioned was that the existence of a vision beforehand, before the pandemic, before anything, was really an important factor in the technological boost that Bahrain has witnessed. And the society itself has been there for a while, looking or maintaining this basically existence, or this preliminary existence of technological aspects. 5G has always been in the plan to be in Bahrain. It didn't come with the pandemic. AWS, as you said, has always been already here before even the pandemic. Being prepared for this kind of thing, where does awareness fit in making the public aware from the society's point of view?
I think we address multiple layers within the society, and we've been addressing first our members, which are IT professionals in the sectors, and then we went back to the public, just anyone interested on the matters. We enlighten them about the Bahrain vision and the strategy, and how they can leverage it and use it to their advantage and where they work. And now we went further to address some executives on organizations.
Right.
And this is where we need to focus, because decision making is basically there. And we need to make sure that executives among different sectors are aware about the opportunities that they have, and what does it mean to their industry, and how to leverage and use technology, and maybe sometimes to dare to do things differently. And as well, what the government is doing basically today is pushing everyone ahead. On other countries, you will see the private sector is ahead, and government is trying to align. In Bahrain, it is the other way around. Government is very moving in a very fast way to achieve their digital transformation. That's inspire everyone to really move much faster than before.
Yeah. One of the things that the government has made possible is the interaction between the youth and governmental societies in giving their ideas and solving certain problems. Do you feel that's an important factor even in the technological field, how the youth's aspects, how their troubleshooting of issues, if you may, comes into the picture?
I think that's the talk about millennial has been there on the market for a very long time, and we have seen it. We have people today in the market that they have never seen keyboard on their mobile. So they're born with the keyboardless mobile devices. Just as a reflection of the big shift of how they think and how they value technology and how they entertain and use. And there is today a big shift, for example, from using traditional collaboration methods versus a new way. You will see those young generation like to use any channels. It could be a social media, and now it is an official use. You can talk to companies through Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and more of that, and their portals. While maybe some generations still like to use email, for example, or phone calls or video calls. So that's where the power comes, the diversification of different generations and how they complement each other. So talking to the young people is very important because we are building a society together to serve everyone. It's not just one group of people, and it has to accommodate the need of those young generation. And it has to be designed in a way that will attract them to use it and leverage their human capital need to be part of the system in a much comforting way to them.
Yes. Well, how do you value the importance and effects of using modern means of media by the society to serve its global raising of awareness?
I think no one now today in doubt of the power of social media. Basically, you can reach anywhere, anyone, at any time by using the social media. And it's been there for a very long time now. We're not talking about the early stage where people still hesitant to use those channels. What happened through the pandemic, I would say that pushes everyone to not stop like in the 2 months where everyone was looking around, oh, we don't have physical events, what we should do. And it's immediately shifting toward digital, video conferencing facilities, inviting people. What happened to us in the society, we've been able to see people from other regions today. We have participants from GCC, from even US, from UK, from Asia, people interested on the topic, and they attend. On the past, this was not definitely possible. So this is the power of the new media, and everyone, including government today, is using old communication channels. And you might see even people go to social media to get the news first rather than watching the TV as before. So those are much faster mechanism to approach your audience and entertain, as well to capture their feedback on your services. So definitely it's a powerful thing to use.
Well, my final question to you, and you've sort of answered it, but I want to put it more into perspective for the people that are watching us. From your point of view, how do you see the future of digital business services on a local and on an international level?
I think we have seen growth in e-commerce, not just a growth, a dramatic change on how businesses have been able to use e-commerce to basically make their product available for people. Some shops have closed physical presence and now use only online presence. And this will continue, to be honest. This is something that we will not go back. This is the new norm. And the beauty about this is that you can reach more customers outside the country. Payment, as we have seen our in Bahrain society, how benefit pay has changed, how people interact, how they merchant and how pay their services through a very simple and powerful tool like benefit pay. And it's growing. Today even you go to the petrol station, you just use the apps. We will see a lot of things that will be using apps. The change here And the society will happen through the power of apps.
Yeah.
People will definitely go to use apps. Organizations need to make sure that they have the right capacity to offer applications through the apps on hand, and continue investing on that side. We would expect as well more uses of artificial intelligence in Bahrain, because that's something that we've had as part of our strategy, and we will be seeing a lot of that coming on the society, and that will create values to everyone.
Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being with us today and answering all of our questions. And thank you very much, dear viewers, for watching us, and we'll see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.